Hello! I am just really excited to be here today. I have been missing this live energy since last week when I did the free Human Design 101. It was just so much fun. I really thoroughly enjoyed being part of that back and forth energy, and I've been missing it this week. So we are here. We're here on Instagram. We are here on Facebook. We're all hanging out. Hello, Mindy. Hi. Thank you for hopping on. Hey, Itza. What is up? I'm so excited for this live today. I am going to be talking to you about how to experience elevated whole health using your human design. So whole health, by that I mean your physical health, your mental health, your spiritual health. Those are the three pillars of health that I love talking about and integrating and strengthening. It feels really good. So as you're hopping on, what I would love for you to do actually, thinking about those three categories that I just shared, so physical, mental, and spiritual, if you had to rate your health in those categories on a scale of 1 to 5, like each one, give each one a number, comment below and let me know. Let me know where you're at with all of those. And if you're watching the replay, still comment. I love replays. I am personally a huge fan of watching replays. So just pretend like you're still watching live with me and leave a comment. Let me know where you're at with those. Yeah, anyways, and then also if you have any friends that also like to geek out on this kind of stuff, who are interested in human design, who are interested in improving their health, share this video, invite them to watch it with you, because it's always more fun with friends. And I don't know, these are the kind of things that I love to share with my friends and with my sister and everyone, because I want them to watch it so that I can then share my thoughts with them, right? So do that because it's fun. It's fun to share, and it's fun to have someone to talk about all this stuff with, right? So, yeah. I think let's just dive in. Oh, and if you're new here, hi, I'm Megan. I love Schitt's Creek. I hope you all got that reference, because I love this shirt. My husband just got it for me earlier this week. And I am also a master life coach, a master NLP practitioner, human design expert, lots of things. Mindy, new to human design, very interested in using it for physical health. Yes. Oh my gosh, I love this. So some of my background as well, I actually started off my whole entrepreneurial journey as a health coach. I no longer actively health coach, but I also am a dancer. Dancing was my life. I started dancing at the age of 3, got my degree in dance, danced and choreographed professionally for a few years. So the physical health aspect, moving in a way that feels good for you, is huge for me. So I'm a huge fan of that for sure. My kiddos are both sick and super fuzzy, so I'm putting them down for a nap. Will you put the replay up? Yes, Etzel, yes. I'm going to put this up as an IGTV, so come back. It'll be up for you. And I can even send it to you if you want, but you'll find me. You know where I'm at, Etzel. You know where I'm at. Me too, started as a health coach. Awesome. What do you do now, Mindy? I don't know that you and I have ever actually met, so tell me more about you. I want to know about you. And then the cool thing about this too is that we get to bring together all of those aspects of health in a way that makes sense for us. That's why oh man, I love that you're here, that you're new to human design, because this is so much fun. We get to bring them all together so that we are a whole unified being. All of our parts working together in ways that make sense, because we were never meant to be just physical beings. We were never meant to be just mental beings. We were never meant to be just spiritual beings. We have all these different aspects of ourselves that we get to play with, right? And oh man, it's so good. It's so good. Mindset and strategy coach for women in business. Awesome. That is so needed. Oh gosh, I'm bumping stuff around. That is such an important work you're doing there. So that's so great. I'm so glad that you're here with me today. Okay. Well, let's just go ahead and dive in. I feel like I had a bunch of different notes, but I don't think I need to share all of that stuff, because we're here. Let's do it. Let's dive in. So let's start with physical. So I'm going to go through the physical, and then through the mental, and then through the spiritual. So we'll kind of work our way through it that way. So Mindy, also, I would love to know if you have pulled your own human design chart yet. And if so, that may be helpful. Otherwise, you can always do it after we're done here. Totally fine. So with the physical, okay, with each of these aspects of health, there are so many places that we can tap into it for our own selves in our chart. So today, I'm just going to be touching on the motor centers regarding physical health, okay? Again, there's a lot more material to work with within your charts. So for now, this will be more than plenty to work with for now. And if you stick with me to the end, I'll share with you how we can make that even more fun and just playful and curious. Manifesting generator, Mindy. Awesome. My house is filled with manifesting generators. I am a 2-4 emotional generator, and my husband and my 2 daughters are all manifesting generators, which made my life so much easier. And I can talk about that in just a little bit, but it improved my mental health, just knowing that and knowing how we all function differently. So good. Okay, so physical health. Let's just talk about energy today within the motor center. So there are 4 motor centers. There's the root, the sacral, the, oh gosh, why is my screen going to sleep? Okay, the root, the sacral, the solar plexus, and the heart. So those are the 4 motor centers. And I'm just going to touch really briefly on all of those. So Mindy, if you are aware of, if you have your chart, if you're able to see whether your centers are open or defined, that may be helpful today as well. So the root center, we're just going to start right at the very bottom. So the root center is that center that's just checking over on Facebook. Okay. The very bottom, I need to get one of those, I need to print mine out and have it on a really pretty laminated thing one of these days. Anyways, the very bottom center, the very bottom of your chart, that is your root center. And that is the motor center that provides us with the momentum to keep going, right? And to preface, everything always goes through your strategy and your authority first. First, you discover whether it's something that is correct for you. If it is, oh my gosh, my phone is gonna die. We'll just keep this succinct today. Once something is correct for you, and once you've been going, that root center, that's what gives you the energy and the momentum to continue going when it is correct. So if you have that defined and you have that adrenal pressure in on mode, that's when you do. That's when you keep that ball rolling, right? And then when it's off, you frickin' stop. You stop, you recover, you recharge, you do something different, right? Listen to the other aspects of your chart, but when that root center is in the off mode, if it's defined, take a breather. And if it's undefined, and I've talked about this, I'm trying to think, yes, I talked about this on the podcast this week. So if you want to talk more about the root and the sacral centers, I went further into depth with those this week. So I would definitely recommend giving that a listen if this is helpful for you. So if your root center is open, really paying attention to whether that pressure is for you or not, okay? And the more you abide by the energy that is correct for you, the better your energy is going to be, okay? So, hello, Maria. Oh, it's been a hot minute. I'm so glad you're here. We're talking about whole health using your human design. Right now we're talking about physical health. So we'll just keep going. You can always, I'm going to post this as an IGTV when I'm done so you can go back and catch the beginning. But root center is a really big place for burnout if you're not careful with it. So raise your hand if you've experienced burnout. Yeah, I've been recovering for months. And it's been improving for sure, but I was in burnout mode for 6 years or so and didn't do anything about it, didn't realize it for a long time because I just kept forcing myself to power through. That's where the hustle, the grind, the fight, that's where that can get really toxic if you're not careful. So when it's correct for you, go ahead and hustle, go ahead and do the grind, if that makes sense for you. I personally don't like those words for myself anymore because of how long I tried to force that. Yep, Maria, you're not alone. You're not alone, my friend. So paying attention to when it is correct for you to be doing and correct for you to be resting and just being, right? So that's the root center. We're just breezing through these. Next, let's hop on over to the solar plexus, which will actually also come into play at the end when we are talking about spiritual health. I love, there's just so much intricacy. I can't say this word apparently. It's really intricate. So anyways, the solar plexus plays more than one role. A lot of things within human design plays more than one role. There's not one place that takes over physical health. There's not one place that takes over mental health. They're all intertwined, okay? But solar plexus in the lens of physical health, right? The solar plexus is another motor center, and it's what provides us with the energy for desire, for more experience, for more intimate relationships, whether romantic or platonic. And it's also for spiritual awareness, which again, we'll get into later. But this solar plexus, if you have it defined, that is your authority. I'm saying this with 95% certainty. I still don't have everything about human design memorized, but it's all in there. Anyways, I have mine defined, which means it's my authority. I have my strategy, and then this is my authority. Anyways, the cool thing about this is that it gives us energy. It gives us energy for the feelings. Like, it can fuel us. It can give us that desire, right? And it's where you go to discover if something is correct for you, right? And if you have this open, you get to discover what you are designed, like what is meant for you to be experiencing and what is meant to be just mirrored back out to the world, right? I've talked about this before. If you have this open, if you have your solar plexus open, which is the one to the far right on your chart, if it's white, you are a true empath. And if you're experiencing everyone else's feelings, you feel them deeply. So it's so important for you. And this actually also ties into mental health, which I did not put in my notes for today. But when you can recognize and understand and start to discover when it is meant for you to experience it versus mirroring it back out, holy moly, the freedom you will enjoy. So, my open solar plexus people, yours is gold. Okay, so yours is defined. Is it your authority, Mindy? Let me know that, because I'm pretty sure that if yours is colored in, because if it's colored in, that means it's defined. The actual color of the center doesn't hold any significance. Some places use all the same colors, some places use different colors. If it's colored in, it's defined, which I believe, Mindy, means that is your authority as well. Which maybe I'll have to do a live just talking about authorities one of these days. But anyways, if it is open, yes, it's your authority. Awesome. Cool. Same Z's. So if it's open and you're feeling all the things, if you're internalizing it all, if you're making them mean things about yourself, that's going to wear you down physically, on a physical level, and it will mentally as well. So I can use that also for the mental health side of things, right? So going through your strategy and your authority, because if it's open, that's not going to be your authority. So whatever your strategy and your authority are, use those things to determine what is and is not meant for you. If it's not meant for you, you just say, okay, this is not mine. I send it back out. We're not going to get too deep into that. I also talked about this a lot in the free Human Design 101 course I did, which you can still catch the replays of. Link is in the bio. I'm so excited about all the things. If I'm talking too fast, will you please let me know? Because I know that I tend to talk fast when I get really excited. So, if it is defined, so Mindy, having that as your authority, using that to discover what is and is not correct for you is going to help you to use that energy correctly. When you're using your energy correctly, then everything flows as it should, and you're going to experience elevated levels of that physical health, right? You're just going to feel invigorated. Everything's going to function the way that it is. You're going to be more awake, and it's just good. It's just good, right? And then the sacral center. So that's the one right above the root center. So the second little shape from the bottom. And most people have this one defined. So Mindy, you've got this one defined. I have this one defined. Itzel, you're watching the replay later. Yes, you have this one defined because you're a generator as well. This is the center for the creative life force. This is so the sacral and the root, those are common centers where we can experience burnout, which again, I talked about on the podcast. This is what supports the continuation of the human race, both in producing life as women do, right? And in doing things that continue the progress of humanity. Okay. So us generator types that have this defined, if we are using it improperly, if we're using it for things that we are not designed to be doing, that we were not sent here to do, things that are not aligned with our purpose, we're going to experience burnout. We're going to experience fatigue. We're going to experience all sorts of misalignment on a physical level, okay? And when you live by your strategy and your authority, then you're going to be doing the things that are correct for you, that do excite you. Like me being here right now, this excites the crap out of me. I love being here. I love talking about this stuff. I love going live with you. I love exchanging this energy with you, and it fuels me. I always end these lives feeling so just I've got adrenaline pumping through me. I'm jumping off the walls. I usually get super sweaty because I'm going because it's correct for me. And in the past I have done things, okay, so as many of you know, I used to be a health coach. Talked about that at the beginning of the video, right? There were aspects of it that I enjoyed, but I tried to force myself to do it in a way that was not meant for me, that was not correct for me, that was not aligned with my energy, and it wore me out. It totally burnt me out. Not because those ways are wrong, just because they were wrong for me, because I did not take the time to discover what was correct for me. I could have continued with that in a way that was correct for me, but I didn't, right? I found other things that were correct for me. So this one was really about letting yourself respond so that you can have that energy in a sustainable way. And if it's open, oh boy, oh, my daughter's awake. If it's open, being really, really careful to pay attention to when you have that energy and when you do not. Because when you do have that energy, you're picking up on it from sacral beings, right? And then you can use it in a really major way. And then you have to rest. Go take a nice long nap. Go take a bubble bath. Go to bed early. Go read a book. Do something to just recover, because you don't have sustainable access to it. You do not have regular generated access to that energy. So if you continue to try to force it, you're going to burn out. You will burn out. It's not even a question of if, it's just when, right? It's especially common for projectors to burn out here, just because they can force themselves to keep doing. But usually, like, for projectors who do that, if they're not aware of it, around the age of like 40, they'll just have a huge major crash. So keep that in mind. And okay, let's just keep trying to breeze through these. All right, let's move on to the heart center. So this is the cute little triangle guy that's over, like, so the solar plexus is over on the right, and then the heart is just right up there. Cute little triangle guy there. This is the center. So this is the last motor center. Oh my word, my phone, you guys. It's gonna die. I don't know what I just did. Okay, we're good. We are good. Thanks for sticking with me. So the heart center is the last motor center, and this is the center that provides the energy behind, like, the I, me, mine aspect, right? It's the, this is what sort of ensures our survival on the material plane. And I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time here, just because I promised myself I wouldn't talk for forever. I could talk for an hour. I could easily talk here with you for an hour because I love this. But using this heart center, most people have this one open. And if that's the case, that means you don't have consistent access to your own willpower, which means stop trying to force your willpower. Okay? Recognize when you do have that willpower, and then when you don't, stop trying to force it. And instead, return back to your strategy, return back to your authority, and then use the energy that you have, right? Which is either like the sacral or the root center or that solar plexus, anything, or when you're picking up on it from other people, if those motor centers are open or undefined, right? I hope this is making sense. Let me know if this is making sense for you, because I'm trying to speed through this a little bit, so I want to make sure I'm not skipping any steps for you. Yeah, and then if you do have it defined, if you have a defined heart, knowing that you've got access to that willpower all the time. You always have that willpower. You are generating that willpower, and that's amazing. That's awesome. Just make sure that you are using it after a thought has been filtered through your strategy and your authority first. Because if it's not correct for you, if you're trying to force something that is not correct for you, and all of these, I didn't put it in here today, but each center correlates with a physical aspect of yourself. Okay, so if you're trying to force it, the heart center, I'm sure you can guess, correlates with the heart. And I believe the stomach, don't quote me on that one. Maybe I can do a post later sharing the physical components that correlate with the centers. But if you are burning out a specific center, it will burn out that specific area of your body. Let me grab my book, just a second. It's just right here. Okay. So I'm not going to look at all of them. Let me just pull up the heart center, just because now I'm curious. No, that's not it. Hang with me. Heart center. Okay. It is, yes, I was right. The stomach, the thymus gland, the heart, and the gallbladder. So all those things will just go kaput if you're trying to force it in a way that is not correct for you. Yeah. Oh, Heather, hi, you're on Facebook. I'm working on my willpower this week. Told myself I was just going to track what I ate no matter what, and I did, and stuck more or less to my macro goals, and I feel happy and not deprived. Yay! Oh, Heather, that makes me so happy. I'm trying to remember. Heather, is your heart center open? I can't remember now. I should remember this. I forget which of my things that goes with. I'm not really yeah. This is why looking at the entire chart is really helpful, because then we can understand how it all ties together, right? We'll come to it, Heather. You can also go ask inside the Insiders Facebook group, and we can go more into depth with that. Okay. All right, let's move on to mental health. Let's speed along here. Mental health. Ooh, how's our mental health? Well, I need to know which one is the heart. All right, Heather, so the heart center is the one. So if you go over to the right side of the chart, to the very right side, there's a big triangle there, and then you go up from there, and there's just a little guy triangle. That one's the heart center. So let me know. Okay, how's our mental health, you guys? I will say for me, my mental health is much better than it used to be. Depression used to be my big monster. And then I also discovered about 6 or so months ago, I discovered about some past trauma that I experienced that I had no idea about, which tells me that I was likely suffering from PTSD as well, CPTSD. And I've been working through that. So depression is almost non-existent in my life anymore, which is major, 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 major. I won't go into my story today, but just know, hey, it's 3:33 right now. Angel numbers. And anyways, so now anxiety is the main thing that I work through right now. It's not major, it is there. So that's where I'm at. Let me know where you're at with your mental health. Tried Googling right now. Okay, better plan. Okay. All right, you got it, Heather. Okay, so I am just going to talk about 2 centers regarding mental health. Again, there's so much within your chart that we can look at regarding mental health. Today, we don't have time to go into all of it. We just don't have the time or the capacity to do so. So today we're going to talk about the head center and the Anya center. The head center is the one at the very, very tippy top of your chart, and then the Anya is the one right below that. Okay, so the head center. The head center is a pressure center as well. There's 2 pressure centers. Okay, you got your root, you got your head. Those are the pressure centers. Those are what drive energy to the other areas of your chart that can help us take the proper action. It drives things through our strategy, through our authority, all that goodness. So the head center is a pressure center. It's also the center for doubts, confusion, questions, inspiration, okay? So if you have a defined head center, let me know in the comments if your head center is defined or open. And if it's defined, you are the one generating this energy. You are generating your own doubts, your own confusion, your own questions, your own inspiration. You are your own source for inspiration. That's pretty freaking cool. So allow yourself to process all of that without making your decision there. And I'll get into that a little bit more when we move on to the Anya center, but just keep that in mind for that. And then if you have it open or undefined, then you are picking up on all of those things from other people. So you are picking up the doubts from other people. You are picking up confusion and questions and inspiration from other sources, okay? And then they're big. So regardless of whether it's open or defined, it is just really, really, really crucial for you to rely heavily on your strategy and your authority. Let them kind of exist, let all of those things exist up in your head center, and then what's going to happen is they're going to move on down into your Anya, because that's your processing center. So let's move into the Anya, which is again the like upside down triangle right beneath the head, and this is the center for mental consciousness. Okay, we have a center for mental consciousness, one for spiritual consciousness, and one for physical consciousness. And see, I told you there's so much here, but for now, the Anya center is a center for information, conceptualization, opinions, concepts, theories, all of that. It's the processing center. So everything that came from your head center, right here, this little guy right here, it's a pressure center, so it's going to get pushed down into your Anya center, and that's where you process it all. So the head and the Anya function together as the mind. You can see that now, right? So it's like the first line of duty for thoughts, for all of those things, right? And that's all you need to let it be, is a center for processing. It's not the final decision maker for anyone. None of us, I said that earlier, none, I don't know what's going on. None of us, I think I was trying to say no one, no one and none of us were designed to make decisions with our mind. So stop trying to think your way to a decision. Stop trying to think your way to feeling better. Stop trying to think your way into better health. Cut it out, okay? It's not what your brain is for. It's not meant to tackle that kind of responsibility. It's just there to process. So that is why This gets to help your mental health, because a lot of mental health happens when we're stuck here, when we're just stuck right here. We're not letting everything flow the way it's meant to flow. Anxiety happens when you're really overthinking all the things, right? When you're trying to plan for everything that could possibly ever happen in the future. That's anxiety. Anxiety is really ruminating on the what ifs, or the possibilities, or the potentials, or all of those things, right? I mean, that's a pretty generalized description of it, but overthinking all of those things, we're not designed to do that. It's not helping you. I used to think it was helping me. My anxiety really came full force when I had my first child. I had severe postpartum anxiety and depression, but anxiety was the new one for me. And what was happening is that I was trying to plan for every possible scenario that could possibly ever happen to my child. Like, well, if this happens, then I'll do this and this and this. Oh, but if there's this variable, then I'll try this. And then if there's this, and then... Do you see how much time and mental energy that takes? Sonia, hello. So when you stop trying to predict the future, when you stop trying to use your brain to make all those decisions for yourself, it frees up so much time and energy, and you're going to experience so much freedom. I cannot stress that enough. Okay, let's move on to spiritual health. And I'm going to keep this one kind of short because it's honestly so simple, and I love this. I adore this so much. So really, I am just going to talk about, again, there's so many things. I said I was going to talk about the solar plexus, but really I want to keep it really simple for you today. So your spiritual health, to strengthen your spiritual health, just listen to your authority. Your authority is exactly where you are most connected with the spirit, with God, with the universe, with source energy, whatever you want to call it, okay? I grew up, so I'm a Christian woman. I grew up in the Christian life, you know, I was raised in it, and I always heard like of other people's experiences of how they would feel the spirit, of how they would experience inspiration and personal revelation and all of these things, right? And so then I would try to experience it the way that they said that they experienced it, right? Like as a burning in the bosom, or as this like feeling in their, I can't even think of all these examples now, but I kept trying to experience it the way that they experienced it. And it did not work for me because I was not designed the way that they were designed. They're experiencing it the way that they were meant to experience it. And now I get to experience it the way that I am meant to experience it. And now you get to experience it the way that you are meant to experience it. So, you have your strategy, you have your authority. Your authority. I keep doing it like that because my strategy is to respond with my sacral center, and my authority is the solar plexus, which is over here. So I keep using that as the motion. So apply that to yours, okay? That is how you are meant to experience that spiritual intuition, that spiritual connection. Whatever spirituality looks like for you, that authority right there, that is going to be the strongest point of connection between you and God, between you and the universe, between you and source. And the more you practice paying attention to it and allowing yourself to be guided by it and allowing yourself to listen to it and trust it, so much trust here, so much trust. And it can be really scary at first. It was for me. It was really scary for me when I first started relying on all of this. And the more you do it, the less scary it will be, the more comforting it will be, the more reliable it will be. And it will just get stronger and stronger every time you use it. So that is physical, mental, and spiritual health using your human design. I would love to know if you have any questions about this. I can always answer them in a future post. So let me know what your questions are. You can DM them to me if you're more comfortable with that. Send me a voice message. I love voice messaging. And then what I would love to do, so earlier in the call I had you write down your number on a scale of 1 to 5, where you're at regarding each of these categories, physical, mental, and spiritual health, right? So I want to help you increase that number. You deserve to have that number increase easily. You don't have to fight to feel better. You don't have to fight to have better mental health. You don't have to fight to have better physical health. You don't have to fight to feel better in your body, okay? And better health in all of those areas doesn't have to look any certain way. And I am here to help you make it, experience it in a way that makes the most sense for you. So what I need you to do now is go book your human design integration session with me, a private reading with me, so that I can guide you through your journey of your own human design. Because now you have this information. When you book this session, you get to experience it. You get to experience it in a whole integrated way, right? So go book your session, honor your energy. Let me show you how to honor your energy. And so you can go book by following the link in my bio. You can comment below saying I'm ready. You can send me a DM, whatever channel makes the most sense for you, whatever feels the best for you. Honor your energy, honor your design, and trust that life gets to work in your favor. Okay, and I say this all the time. I will say this for infinity, for eternity. I will always say this. Your design, your chart is only filled with strengths. There is only strength and power to be found within your chart. So let me show all of those to you, and let me know what was the most helpful about today, about this video, and we'll talk some more soon.